speaking.
Contradicted myself in that one.
It's a good question, actually. Speaking of definition of sound, is it auditory strictly? Either way, it doesn't matter. We're underway.
We're into this one. And Rise is going to start on the T side, while Misfits, of course, the CT. And Devaduvek is already going to start it off well, as it's just going to be an action-packed pistol round to start it off. Moose is trying to get on the loose and wrap around this pillar. As keep in mind, the bomb's planted towards B, so Moose is a distraction in this.
He's a distraction. He gets quick reloaded on the Glock, but that's when Sean strikes, getting back all the way from ramp. And wrapping in behind on the hut. Bomb has been planted in VSA. He's trying to hold off Vents, but at the same time, here's a quick tap on the bomb and bait it, actually. Surprisingly, took the bait. As Acers pulls back, Amanek gets down to a 1-versus-1 with Sick. I don't think that they needed to leave Vents so quickly because VSA lost the position, but Acer runs through and finds Sick trying to hold and gets the headshot on the Glock. Rise will take the first round.
That was a last second, just as the CT model started to stand up, so you know it was so close to defusing. And I think another thing that went relatively unnoticed, just due to how hectic that round was, is Shazam actually killing himself. I think he jumped off of the, I don't know if he fell dying down vents, or he jumped off a catwalk, but he ended up just dying to himself. An assist from VSA. So perhaps having another player in that situation would allow that defuse to come through. Now Rise, we'll see. In the previous BO1 we saw them, they didn't get a hot start, and then they kind of fizzled out. So perhaps, if they can light the wick early, maybe they'll burn for longer.
It is very important, I think, to always take T-sided pistols on nuke. I still think that it emphasizes the momentum and trying to take advantage of economy early. John Jay is going to work outside with a Galil, so he's got a little bit of range on the rifle. They've only gone with the one SMG. However, he's already taken substantial damage. Good find from John G to get Sean out toward the garage. Shazam still waiting above. Will be found by Acer. And they make no mistake finding Amanek rotating back as well from Turnpike. So slow and steady, take over the outside control, wrap around. Finally, Sick gets one kill back. Perhaps the kill he needed in the one-on-one in the last round. And the CZ cannot look up and find the headshot on the Moose. Down they go. So 2-0, straightforward. They only lose the MAC-10, and that's pretty much perfect in that situation.
I already told you what VSA stands for, didn't I?
Sorry?
Did I tell you what VSA stood for?
No, tell me.
Oh, very slick Asian.
Very slick Asian. That's not
I think
bad.
it's one of the nicer three-letter word names.
Is he like CBA or ABA? American-born Asians? Canadian-born Asian?
Might be too old for me.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know his history in that, but yeah, that's cool. Very slick Asian. I like that.
Oh, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I be VSC? Very slick Canadian?
Yeah, it could work.
Okay, I'm going to take it.
I can see it. That's a good tagline. As Acer's going to try to make his own tagline. Because right now it is just Ace. As he's going to push down ramp with the MAC-10. SMG will lead the charge. He'll be there by his lonesome as this round. Again, it should be going through the motions unless we have a little bit of a flashback to the full USPs of CLG. Also dark time into that PL1, so let's hope that won't repeat itself. As post-plant retaking with the USP and one Galil shouldn't happen. I don't even know if Sean Garris wants to hold on to this Galil, knowing he'll get a full bind to the next.
It's still beneficial for the CTs going to round 3 because it's utility that you struggle with. So if you wanted to elect, especially on nuke with the CTs, you know, kits on retake is super important. If you lose a site, obviously you are pressed for time to get retakes in successfully, but also to cover off such positions as Hut, Squeaky, rampless. So it's more about a peek at ramp. But if you want to get utility up, holding one gun is still valuable. So they'll concede the round, but Sean's not gone. So John Jay trying to find out Sick, and Sick goes for the gun as well, but gets taken down. If he looked for exits on it, but if he had carried it over, I bet you would have held it for sure.
A little bit of Jonas Brothers on your mind?
Yeah, I listened to them last night a little bit.
Not bad. You can jive to them. So 3-0 start for Rise. You're right, transferring those 3 rounds after getting pistol is huge for T-sides. Shazam will just go right into the op. No hesitation. Rise won't upgrade that Galil. And if you're deadly with it, no reason to, as they'll get full utility, of course. Misfits will be lacking those mollies, so quick play here from Rise may catch Misfits off guard. But bleeding Misfits right now just becomes easier without having that initial little mollies to waste some time. But this is an outer play we haven't seen.
Dazzle taken down by Devanek down through the smoke. Small gap again. A lot of teams struggle with that, and Sean's going to wrap around behind them. So even though they've gotten into secret and there's no direct rotation to slow them down on the side take, Sean is going to be well-timed. And somehow Moose did not see him from the catwalk. So John Jay is going to assume this is clear, and if Sean can make some pace in getting position. John Jays is sitting. Duck Acer gets Sean, though. That is almost bad luck from Sean, because Acer, I think, just happened to chance check that coming back down from connector, or excuse me, from control.
And now it's almost, the conversation is even worth. I think if Sean Gayers finds success there, his teammates come down vent. But now they're in a spot where they really can't. This is a save for Misfits, Amanek, and his French brethren. They may find one frag, but they are going to try to hang on to these M4s. Sick will have a little bit of a team meeting, as Rise will get a 4th. Now, Misfits saving 3 rifles. If they save 3, I think you can argue, of course, they'll force around it, especially finding these frags, knowing that the more damage they do to Rise, the more competitive the force around these rifles will be.
Yeah, I mean, Devidex starting that off with a shot through smoke, though, as they head to Secret, and then the wraparound from Sean. I mean, that's a round you almost want to convert. The rotations were a little bit lackluster to get to lower from ramp. So they're going to have to speed that up, especially early on. Because, again, we talked about momentum. They've just saved guns over, and they're in a position where they could be tempted to force in around it, especially with an op saved. But they're giving up rounds to Rise, who, again, struggled early on today against Luminosity. And Misfits, I mean, they don't want to be in the situation with pressure on them early.
Certainly not. Especially
Nuke's a cruel mistress. Doesn't matter if you're good on the map or not. If you have a terrible start and give up too much T-sided rounds, it's still going to be a difficult game no matter what.
I like this from Rise. They've been abusing outer yard now for the 2nd time in a row with rifles. And it's hard to counter that smoke that gets thrown front red. You can throw the other 2 smokes on the run.
Much faster rotations to lower this time, though. So John Jays, oh, I thought he actually snapped back. Shazam gets 2 in the corner. That's going to work to bait Sean back in. And they read it well. Even though they didn't have a full buy to go with, they forced around the gun, saved Shazam, wanted to cover off Secret because he obviously read that Rise was putting a lot of outside pressure. And again, Devidex from Mini was able to spot it. They were in position early. That's the difference in this round versus the last. Last time they had nothing to shut down the lower take once they'd lost Secret.
I think they immediately went down vents, right? I think they immediately just didn't stop. They jumped down. And now it's just Ace in a 1v5. And no, nothing. Sick. Steer that one into the guardrail for Rise. As it was great for Shazam. He actually lines 2 up. A 1 for 2 from Shazam is just perfectly placed. As Rise wanted to try to stagger that peak, instead just barely line up. And it'll hurt him. You can see how it started out hot for Rise 4 in a row. Think they bid a little bit of cash. But now we're already at the teeter-totter rounds. It came quick, where the economy in both teams is kind of up in the air. It looks like Misfits have a bit more of a leg to stand on, though. Teeny one.
Less pressure outside this time from Rise. Something to think about after how convincing Shazam especially shut them down lower. Talk about the fact that they have a Dota 2 support player on their team. Was Dazzle?
Ah.
Yeah, see those smokes. Even from this angle, you can see Shazam wouldn't be able to see anything through them, but you can tell from the ground you would definitely have a gap there.
Looks like they're going to get ready to explode in the A site, especially with John G finding this contact. The molly back towards second vents. VSA will go out first. He'll say, excuse me, as he passes his teammates, and it's a 1-for-1 as VSA needs this clean kill towards site, but it's not happening yet. It's Sick to make a one-man stand, and it's just so simple for him right now. As Moose is the last one up, about to ace. No, Moose denies it.
Caster's Curse, I ruined it. I'm sorry, Sick.
I think he'll forgive you for, I think, plenty.
Playing the floor perfectly. Good read again. I could hear it just as yesterday we're close to the players. I could hear Shazam calling, yes, they put a wall up, but there was no further activity. No one overreacted that time. And unlike previously where they had to sort of take a chance on an early rotation based on the fact they were low in utility, this time they held their positions. They were ready on the floor for a rotation through the vents, but Sick, as you say, just dominates from behind the spool. So very, very good read. Misfits now, finally, and I say finally we're on round 7, but having lost the first 4, have control of the economy. And smoke for VSA already deployed. Armor for 3. The rest will just have to explode and look for trades. Best case scenario. Amanek, by the way, it's been quiet for him at the ramp. That's the one position we haven't seen Rise try and take advantage of yet.
And you're right. The one change I have noticed that you pointed out is when these walls with smokes get thrown from Rise, they're willing to just pull one player off and immediately put him in vents without hesitation.
I question the use of that single smoke they had to be used on Catwalk Corner.
Without doing anything with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very clever smoke, and I like that you can get someone wrapped around, but Moose, okay, so Moose wants to do it, but he's late. The smoke's already gone. The only thing it does is let him get down Twinkie earlier if someone's playing behind the big garage, but that's very, very situational and like one angle you're covering with a single smoke, so I don't know that that's worth it.
Maybe we'll see different iterations of that once the rifles come back out.
So, I mean, it's possible. Like I say, it is a cool smoke if you've got more to go with it.
It's kind of like eating bread without some butter.
Yes.
Similar, maybe?
A little dry.
A little dry. Difficult to do. As Ace will fall. Same with VSA. So Misfits have closed it in. 3 in a row. As Rise will buy, Ace gets his up. So T-side up is in play. Of course, Shazam will still have his. He's been kind of hanging around towards the Hell, Heaven, Big Garage. I think he'll keep looming and glooming around there. Not feeling too much to go towards ramp yet. They don't really need to switch up his positioning, especially if Misfits want to keep throwing up and down those riflers quickly through vents and keeping the pressure everywhere. But it looks like he's going to go ramp this round, so that's a bit of a change for Misfits as well.
Both directions outside, so they're on the Misfits side trying to slow them down considerably. Now we get some pressure at ramp, and it's exactly the time in which they put the op in position. Shazam hits one and drops off immediately. Doesn't want to stick around for any heroics. Instead, he'll concede position. No rotation toward highway or turnpike, if you will. But Sean winning out the duel against Moose finally at outer will slow them further. And John Jay has to think very dearly if he wants to go through that squeaky door or not.
Well, the fact that Dazzle's walked out here. Now, they did call that they fell off ramp. So
I'm more curious as to what the re-rotation is from Shazam. He's going to stay lower, but if they can get someone toward... The problem is they've conceded heaven in this, so there is still a chance they could be overwhelmed by it. The fact that they called they fell off ramp, though, Sick needs to be a little bit cautious. Between he and Sean, someone... Okay, there you go. I didn't see the third player on Rafters. I thought that was actually below. So Devidex covered it. So as long as someone is considering that possibility, then most things should be cared for. Dazzle's going to go reverse wrap.
This.
If he gets toward main, I think he'll still be spotted from the floor.
Yeah, he doesn't have too many options, especially considering with Shazam holding ramp like this. One player is able to get towards heaven. And Janji may get caught here, but it comes down to timing on Shazam's peak. As Dazzle will get spotted out from Devaduvek. As, now Shazam will spot that player with 18 seconds. They have to commit to B. Shazam comes down to timing how he swings it. Another 1 for 2 from Shazam.
That's
one
insane.
bullet. That's the second of the game. Rarely do you see that. And a leg onto Dazzle. This round's done.
We talk about bullet efficiency. Like, Shazam has 2 collaterals already in this game. That's ridiculous as Sean shuts down Dazzle. They go 4-4. Starting to see the comfort of Misfits now. Communication seems much better, much more. I guess losing the first 3 rounds, I don't fault them. If you lose pistol, okay, fair enough. You're under equipped for the next 2. But the first gun run, I was actually concerned. The first thing I saw was a lack of rotations. That's just ridiculous. I think he shot like the first one in the hand to get that kill.
Good thing we don't have to buy bullets anymore.
Yeah, true. Shazam wouldn't need to. Bring that back. Let's go.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Do you know what I always found was interesting is that people would I don't know about the pro level, but people in pub servers would intentionally buy guns that had the same bullets as the pistol. So if you had ESP or Glock, for example.
Okay.
Like MP5, I think, had the same as the USP. I can't remember.
So you share it out?
It was like when I was like 9 years old.
That's cool.
No, yeah, you just, that way you only have to buy one. Yeah.
That's really cool. That would be a cool aspect.
Quite irrelevant, to be honest. But yeah, they would do that.
Unless they kept the guns at the same base.
So again, I'm going to just to point out 1 kill, 1 and 3, but it's not like he's playing poorly and being that far behind on the scoreboard. They just haven't put pressure on ramp. And the one round they do is when Shazam was there, so they actually went dynamic with the op. Sometimes it can be misleading in scores in that regard. That I'm pretty sure was still a gap, but John Jay is going to just rush. Yeah, that's a huge gap. Thanks for looking over to confirm that. They're going to have to be more than aware. Devidex, Sean Gares, they knew the smoke wall was there. Shazam couldn't find anyone from above, but Devaduvek getting below has already got 2. And in the dark spot, Amadex spots over. This time rotating quickly off ramp. There you go, 2 kills. Finally, he gets some action, you could say.
Yeah, Misfits have a really good hold on what's going on now. They've just tightened up that rotation ship. And they have
rotation ship.
The rotation ship.
It's like a partnership of rotations.
Yeah.
Or is it a rotation like with a captain, like on the sea? The seaside.
I'm going to leave everything that I use as an analogy as very open.
If
I pin myself down, then...
It was an interesting point. It is like a partnership when you rotate it. So yeah, I like it. We'll go with it.
Perfect. You're happy, I'm happy. It's a good time. And
I
Rise...
had my Prozac this morning.
Well, that's even better. Now, Rise have to start to get happy. In the gaming sense, of course. As Janji... I mean, the smoke Misfits are throwing now has almost been stopping Rise when they have rifles. Because they've noticed that Rise like to throw that top front red box smoke And Misfits are like, well, if we throw a counter smoke, will they run through it? And they haven't done it once. So it has efficiently shut down Rise getting out of control, at least at the beginning.
John G. Trying to spot outside, but with no such success. No one up close. At least he confirms that much. Now, Moose has a smoke lined for Heaven. We'll see if they can actually utilize this to any great effect. I thought that was going to miss, but he does actually nail it. I thought it was going to clip the pillar on the way by, and then unfortunately trying to rush in with it. They need some more approach to trade behind the vents because no one inside of Heaven. It's a good attempt. It gives you confidence to walk out from Hut, but they just got shut down on crossfires instead.
Jeez, Davidovec wasn't even sweating it. Standing behind vents, that door ate so many bullets for him. Even his teammate was mollied out at second vent, but it was just a casual swing from his teammate. Davidovec just stayed there and held his ground as Rise will effectively have the door slammed in their face into that round. As Dazzle's 0-8. And a good turnaround from Shazam. At one point he was -1. So to be 7-3 now.
That is true. On the other side, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, 0-8 for Dazzle. I did say he was a support player from Dota 2. He's clearly trying to play the support role here.
He's got 1 assist.
Casting some shallow grave. Davidovec going to take down Moose. Amanek going to step up as well and find Acer. In fact, Rise lose 2 players at his hands. They lose VSA as well.
On the bomb is there too, and Sick. Kind of consolation prize here for Rise. Maybe they'll get the gun. Janji.
Bit of a miscue. Shazam walks in and immediately throws out a Molotov into a smoke that already existed, but down to just Dazzle. He finally does get a kill. That's all it takes. You just got to call them out sometimes, and then you're good to go.
He's trying to get a gun. Still no luck. He's trying to get through the door. He doesn't want to use his P250 in this 1v3. He does have armor behind it. But Shazam is just going to sit on the bomb with his teammate, Amanek. So he will pick up the M4, but 57 seconds. So many moving parts that go into this one. He may get timing here, and he certainly will. Sean Garrett just falls back to second vent, 7-4. From what was a fiery start from Rise as they rose from the ashes of their BO1, quickly getting put out and thrown into the bin so far.
It's a much better start, or rather, turnaround, I should say, for Misfits. 7 in a row, no bomb plants in any of that either. So it's showing now that Rise are really struggling to utilize map control once the necessary adjustments were made from Misfits to control the outer position. And they look hesitant. This is where the one dimension comes in now. Of course, this is Misfits' pick. But at the same time, once they lost control of the outside position, they've never found any option toward ramp or upper. And the only round they did get ramp was obviously the round where Shazam dropped off it and they gave position to outer, and then covered it with good communication. This time, Dazzle starts off well through the door. Davidovec goes down. Something to work with.
Shazam is still outside towards outer yard. He's going to fall all the way to Heaven. But look at Sean Gare's angle. He'll hold Mini all the way from Big Garage. This is an angle you rarely clear as a T, just due to how just how awkward and off-placed it is and kind of off-putting. We'll see how ready Rise are going to be for this, but at least they have the man advantage. You mentioned Dazzle starting it off well. So can they change and chain this round even more into their favor? As they rain utility to keep, I think Moose is just going to chill as Rise go towards ramp. So Moose is their dedicated lurk. He needs to find success, I think, into this one as well.
It's hard to lurk and nuke, to be honest, unless your team's got really good entries in your late rounds, but do get control of ramp. Again, they'll push back CTs. No one really fully rotated yet. There's still 3 players above in the upper site. And Sean still outside, so full retake required. A good positioning from John Jay as he does sit back to cover off vent. It's one of the only positions you can sit comfortably and allow the rotations to work in your favor. Dazzle will open the doors inwardly, so he has the headshot angle towards Secret. And Sean heads that direction in a 3 versus 3 bomb planted about 7 seconds ago. VSA, he'll be the late play in all of this inside of Toxic as Shazam gets closer to decontamination. Door, good play from Sick, finds Dazzle immediately. Door opened or not, Shazam finds Acer, and now VSA's late play is going to have to pay off. Door opens early, he takes down Shazam, that's the high HP player. He's got a great chance of finding both Sick and Sean if he can play it correctly. Molotov's out, he is double peaked, and a good play in team communication from Misfits. That is
right
amazing.
As those words left your mouth, huh?
I'm looking over and they're all cringing and laughing at the same time. I don't think that was intended, but rip Sean.
Great team.
Sean's the only one not laughing, by the way.
So dead serious. Great communication and team. Well, all right. Okay. I think they're fighting for the defuse in that one.
That's unreal.
All right. Good thing you don't lose money for. Actually.
Jeez. I mean, technically, yeah, you don't lose it in terms of the deduction of what it used to be, but you lose it in the fact that Sean now has to buy another gun.
Yep.
Thankfully, they've got lots of money left for the rest of the half.
They're well off. And Rise are well off into this one.
Sean just really wanted that defuse, you know?
Yeah.
Extra 3 points.
Make it look like he's having an even better game, which is fair. Dazzle, tag down, as these gaps in the smokes have been killing him, haven't it?
Disgusting. Yeah, that's disgusting. They've really, really got to address that. Time to head back into server. Devudek is just mowing them apart. Shazam, early rotation as well. Reading once again the wall. Duvek runs through to grab an AK.
Building the wall isn't always the answer, is it?
No, I mean, yeah. I'm going to leave political jokes out of this for once.
Probably poor,
normally I do jump all over those. But Russia's taking care of it for me right now. So it's
They'll
fine.
speak for you. 17-5 is Devudek. I really like the play from Shazam. He knows when to stay towards outer yard, but he can get down towards those stairs so quick. He's willing to concede heaven. He just gets one of the players in the A site to hold up towards heaven. As Rise will try this wall of smokes again. I'm unsure if there's a gap in it, and there's another gap.
It's huge. It's huge. I'm surprised Shazam actually didn't see the silhouettes of the heads going by in that position, but doesn't get the shot off in time. Moose does open up the round on Devudek. A late rotation toward towards Vent from Hunt does mean that they have some access to lower, but Amanek in a dark spot can't quite spot VSA, who plants bomb, heads toward decontamination. A shot out early, surprisingly, and I don't think he's read that they've gone toward Toxic. He's going to go for the fast defuse. He's going to be already on this, and all they have to do is have Shazam hold the door, and he should be able to hold it all the way through. That's quite good indeed. A great read. Risky, but it works, and it picks up Misfits round of number 10.
That's got to hurt Rise. I mean, out of the last 10 rounds in a row for Misfits, that's only 2 bomb plants for Rise. That's not a lot of attempts at post plants. And the post plants you do get when half is so one-sided like this, you need to convert them. So if that bomb goes down in that round, you definitely have to convert that round into a W. The fact that they stick it like that.
Yeah, I mean, the funny part was he did not see the player go to Toxic, but the player in Toxic was so preoccupied with getting in and just hiding that he just threw the smoke and ran.
The bomb plant is $800 more for them at least, plus 300 extra for the planter. So the op comes out from Ace.
It was also a perfect position for Shazam because he had an angle at the door.
Yep.
Okay, if he misses the shot and he gets wide and gets a shot off, fair enough, but all he has to do is watch the call. So last round of the first half, it was 4-0 for Rise. It's now 10 in a row for Misfits, and looking to make it an 11-4 halftime. Still workable on Nuke.
I believe so, yeah.
But I'm starting to see some rather lackluster approaches from Rise. Very big gaps in the smoke and showing that they don't have full knowledge of the map. Moose doing our little turnstile rotation. Ooh, Twinkie for this reason. He wants the off angle. Smoke and incandescence down from Flames, and he couldn't quite see it, but he'll repeak to no avail.
Shazam's not even going to bother just dealing with that one. Falls down secret, and he'll just simply hold the secret stairs. As Devudek and Sick have done just an amazing job working off each other in towards the A site with the Raptors and player back sight. As John tries to get through just as the smoke dissipates, and Sean Gares playing towards Mini is just not allowing that. So Misfits get first blood. Moose has worked towards heaven, and Devudek's holding this, and goodbye, Moose. Devudek clearly has his hunting licenses. Dazzle has to wait till this molly goes away. And Sean Gares is in Mini. But this round is just looking so great for Misfits.
So great indeed. Sick pops back out. Another great performance from the floor. Finds the assist on the last kill on Acer, as well as Devudek rotates back in. And we find ourselves 11-4 Misfits. Looking very tidy. Looking what I would have expected coming into this game, if I'm honest. But a very slow start. I think those are the RB 70-78. It's the same glasses I had. Yeah, I don't know where they are.
You lost a pair of glasses as well?
Yeah, they're at home somewhere. I think they're in the trailer, but I'm not sure.
That's what I tell my mom, but I actually don't know where they are.
Okay. I think my mom probably knows where they are more than I do. She looks after me.
My mom always yells at me, stop, when I'm looking for something. She tells me stop looking like my dad. Actually look.
That's fair.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a bad approach to the situation if you just slow down. VSA does have wicked hair, I'm not going to lie.
That's what if there's one thing Ace got, is to market that guy.
Yeah, I'm down. Well, we'll get back underway, swapping it over.
Deagle and Shazam. Haven't seen this yet from him. Perhaps the score is leaning him into that favor. Maybe he has a wall bang lined up that he can go for a Deagle. But it looks like he just wants to try to take as many duels as he can towards outer yard, while Rise have glass raining on them from the Misfits side in towards the A site.
I like how his whiteout PT50 is called Get a Tan, Bro. References to all sorts of things.
Plenty.
Shout out to Freakazoid.
Recently left his premier team. The more you know.
Daze did that recently, too.
I think he hung up his mouse, didn't he?
Might have hung himself with his mouse, I'm not sure. Arguably, you could say that was the story of his career. So in towards secret entrance for Misfits. VSA has options to go down through the vents, but without it blown out, that'll be quite revealing when he decides to go.
Man, they're being so quiet about this too, aren't they? They get in towards control room. Shazam, don't be fooled. His name tag may be blue, but he is on the T side as VSA and Ace. Can't deny the plant, but they can find 2 frags, as it's just Shazam with a Deagle. This would be a 1v5 for the records. Instead, it's a 1 bullet to the head for the staircase. And Rise will win both pistols, which is kind of crazy to think. The Rise have won both pistols, and we're only sitting at 11-5.
Yeah, that is actually remarkable, but that's exactly what you need. 11-4 going CT side. Get back into it early. Start to establish a very solid presence, get in the minds of Misfits that they can't just have free reign of the map, but a good rotation as well to recover from that, because the situation is such with 5 players in secret early, and not even to concede a bomb plant in doing so. It's quite remarkable. Oh, I take that back, they did. Look at that. Even the observer's showing me. They got the defuse. I'm sorry. Which also yields its fact that they haven't bought in, so we'll look for the early buy from Misfits, but in the meantime, Scout bought out from Acer, P90 for Moose. Don't see that every day.
You don't. Could be a comfort thing at this point. Doesn't care about the cash due to the scoreline, maybe.
John Jay got tagged considerably down to 17 and gave up ramp super early, even though he had the bomb within his grasp. So this does give some room to Misfits if they can overwhelm him before further rotation gets in. But they get to Vant in control room quite quickly. Dazzle's going to try and get behind them. Amanek, good find. That'll give the M4 back to their possession, but they need to get the bomb down to go with that. So he has a position to hold from, and that I don't think is going to happen.
Maybe one more kill, perhaps?
They know where he is. They just need to contain him. Don't peek. If you peek one by one, and the M4 gets found, fair enough. Dazzle makes short work of it.
Is someone going to go get it?
Wow, that's the problem. The Molotov bit off, so
Can't get her.
They need to get the other rifle back. They did.
It.
Moose got it.
That was a bit awkward. So now Misfits will buy. Davidovek will go for the hero play, the sacrifice play, same with Sean Garris. Look at the lesser weapons just for the bolstered mollies. I imagine this is where they come out with a set piece. They know they don't have all the firepower required. Misfits just, boom, line some things up and go immediately into a play that they've probably scrimmed out.
See, I mean, they're still going to face some adversity in it. Quick push, try and wrap around. They've got to trade that immediately. Thankfully, Sick does. Shazam going down, though, is a bit problematic in this situation. You lose the early buy, you sit for 2 more, you send up, basically conceding a 5-round score, so 11-8, 11-9, not out of the realm of possibility. John G at least rotates down onto the catwalk. He's made a lot of noise in doing so, and therefore, from inside of decontamination, Amanek, I think, would have heard that. Sean doesn't want to pop out vents and get the lineup on him, even though he easily could, because he's waiting for exactly that. Dazzle to enter in, grabs the M4. Now they can start focusing inside of the site directly. Surely Amanek heard that, I say so, but with no response to it, I'm a bit surprised.
John G may need some help here in a little bit.
I'm still not sure why Sean doesn't just go vent and try and just bust out and take him down, but they're playing the long con here, trying to contain. The HP's gone lower, and they've got a crossfire set. Sean's at least got a spot. John G realizes the rotation came off. I think they were expecting a fake lower based on the fact that they'd all rotated and not seen further action.
They're waiting so much time off this clock.
There's 3 kits as well, so with low HP, even a bomb down if all 4 survive, a retake's highly possible. 1 smoke still in VSA's hands.
He's so antsy. Oh, he knows now. He hears these players running up to the site.
Yeah.
Can't
Ooh.
clean them both up, but he will drop the bomb, so they have to stick this. Amanek and Sean.
Oh, my
okay.
goodness. Quit picking
The
on
bomb's
Sean.
down. That's it. He denied the plant, Janji. How did he do it? How's he down here if he denied the plant?
He came straight up through the vent, and the crossfire was established
But they didn't
strictly
kill
for that position. They didn't kill him.
Oh my goodness,
and he
right.
shot Sean instead. So that's some NACS for sure. Rise is going to pick up another round as a result of it. Denied plant. They took way too much time. In a 4-on-3, and they had access to lower side. Again, I'm very surprised that Amanek did not call that John Jay was above. I'm sure that he would have heard that. And obviously just didn't,
Look at this.
didn't register it.
He shoots Sean here. And what, John Jay killed him while on the ladder. To sight.
Yep,
That's some RNG on that one. I mean, most ladders aren't, and they have to be, but he gets the lucky ones. He gets the numbers. They hit green. Didn't even ask for a percent.
Poor Sean comes into in-game lead, and they just pick on him the whole time. Moose, oh, this could be huge. If he times this right, spot sick bomb down, drops into the smoke. He's actually just going to try and stay alive. Good read, Amanek spreading sideways, and still they carry over the AK-47s as a matter of the time running out in the last round, or being denied, as you said. So it's easily tradable, and as a result, they pick up another M4. Shazam without armor. Devedek is the same with just the Deagle. They've given themselves a bit of room to work in spreading out the defense more thin, but unfortunately, with Acer already rotating to Locker and Dazzle, more importantly, inside of Secret, outside's not a clean option for them. Oh, did he spot? Now he certainly late reactions in spotting. The player above.
These are the stretching rounds for Rise. Stretching it out because I know they have a long run to go. So, I mean, if they could break Misfits early and get them a little flustered. They're not the best team that deals with being just in a flustered mess. It seems like a team that's hard to reel in at times. As they're going to try to get in through mini. VSA from the elbow up there in the rafters will find plenty of success, and Janji helps him out. As it's Shazam on 31, no armor.
Oh.
He hit a nice shot, but immediately traded from Janji as Rise. I mean, this half was
4 in a row. Same start they had
Yeah.
last time as well, and that comes off the
11-4,
back of losing the
4 in a
early
row.
buy. But I think they've been gifted some presence in the fact that it's been slow pace from Misfits.
Yeah.
The inability to get the plant on round 3 will certainly haunt them for a while. But they get back into guns this time, obviously, and pulling out 2 SMGs for Sean and Amanek to go along with it. If they can find some execution to out of, they've got some smokes to do so. They've got 4 smokes, excuse me. Misfits are going to try and go for it, but the deep counter smoke suggests that there'll be a strong presence. Exactly this from Moose. He's got to be careful. Last time he tried to go above, he could. Oh, he's going to do it again, too. He's going to be perfectly positioned. Good find. They're going to have to start reading that. If they want to start playing aggressive outside, let them bait them into it. Sit back and get the early picks and try and get the man advantage on the Misfits side. But right now, they still want to contest. They do at least make it by with the trade in the first to find Dazzle below, gives them the advantage. And a bomb plant has to be in the cards this time. They're slow again. They'll have problems. Good Molotov to force Acer off. That should allow access from the control room door. The next find has to be John Jay, and it's immediately found by Shazam.
Oh, can Ace have any impact? He's alone in a 1v3. The bomb still has to cross, actually. Actually, the bomb's not even here, is it? Nuke's always trippy for me. There we are. He's in sync. Or as you call it, decon.
I can tell. Yeah, decontamination. Sync works. It's a quicker word. It's probably better for call, but decontamination just sounds cool, right?
Definitely sounds like
I want a
cool place.
decontamination room in my house. Probably need one.
For the Canadian winners.
Again, the Misfits. Okay, Sean finds the kill and kills it out. That's fine. And obviously they were waiting for him to lurk into clear ramp, but at the same time, they're just not showing any confidence to go for trades in the late round. I like how Sean is talking what he's typing. He's like reading to himself as he's typing it. Well, timeout will be called. It's technical. Never mind, it's not.
His PC crashed? Oh, he's in server. Well, we're good.
Yeah, they called for a PC crash, but I don't think that they need it anymore, so the unpause will be called right away. Misfits, by the way, if you want to talk timeout tactics, do not have a coach behind them, so not like they need to cue in any further instruction. You have a guy like Sean on your team. Perhaps you don't need a coach. I'm not sure. Let him be the judge of that, not I. I think there's still benefits, but Sean does bring a wealth of experience.
He brings the sponsors to the yard.
It's that hair, man.
Has to be.
And those lean cut biceps.
100%.
Not that I was checking him out at all.
Of course not. Just a glance.
Don't tell Henry.
Delete the VOD. As Rise got the opening pick, thanks to Jonji's UMP. Now, due to Misfits having such a good half, there's very little room for Rise to make some blunders on the CT side, especially with the economy steps that need to be taken at this point. So they know they can afford to give up 13, but outside of that, they know they're going to have to plug the holes that are filling their basement with water.
Zam, slow peak play. No smokes down until they get closer to Mini. And they're actually going to walk, I think, for Heaven, but they could drop immediately. As far as I can tell, and this view gives us a better indication, there's no one immediately inside of... Ooh, good positioning, better shot from Sean. Now that reveals they are trying to go for the wraparound. Duvek's going to find Moose. There's no one inside Raptors directly, but there was one on top of Hut. That was another attempted team shot outside. Why is that such a thing right now for the Misfits? Guys seemingly on edge. It's down to just Acer on a Deagle. Good find, Devo Duvek. Great round overall for him. He only finds 2 kills, but both of them substantial because the second one gave them the man advantage and confidence to take the upper site.
I'm surprised Shazam isn't getting loud. I know he loves to get in the heads of the opponents, and he's one of the players in North America that still likes to get loud. Perhaps Sean Gares has tightened up that one. Told him to tone it down, maybe. As Rise take a little bit of a half buy in the previous round to get the op now out on Ace. No utility for him, not even an upgraded pistol, but all he needs is that one-shotting rifle. While Misfits will carry in 2 SMGs into this. But they are just looking better, and it's going to be a quick ramp play here. And Ace just gets caught. Lovely flashes in for Misfits. He'll go down. No trade frags. Rise has no one in the vicinity but Moose. He's in such a good spot, and he is trying to be on the loose as he almost gets a third, but Jonji has to get something here.
Traded back, Shazam hits the shot. That was rather intimidating when he swings out wide after already finding 2. It's a tough position to play and read the side, but the made so much noise it made it easy. Dazzle, good nade in. Down goes Sean. It's all onto Amanek. He's had a rather, I guess, lackluster game in terms of action, not in terms of skill, but now he's finally got a chance to step up and have some fun because he's in a 1 versus 1, and VSA is tapped, but this time on it. 10 seconds on the defuse, gets him off and immediately with the shot. Never had a chance on 10 seconds if Amanek has the high side. 14-8 and 2 rounds to go for Misfits.
And that is all sending Rise just down to 3-round loss. As if Moose, if he gets his third, surely the round's done. And what would have been a nice help here for Moose is his teammate Jonji, as you can see there in control, getting 1 kill. Even just 1 kill perhaps makes that so much easier for the CT side. As Rise is going to take a pause, oh so random, will get in his thoughts that don't seem so random at this point. He'll be very concise, laying down the law. I suppose they're also discussing if they want to force here, but it's map 1. I suppose you can give up 15 and try to fight back into that one.
Calm and collected on the Misfits side. Their map choice. All the rounds that Rise have won. They've won 2 gun rounds, but they've won... Actually, I think they've won 3 because they really botched. They had 2 gun rounds facing them sort of in a quasi approach from Misfits at the start of this particular half, but they've all been in succession and then responses from Misfits in according fashion as Amanek gets aggressive toward ramp. Jonji, I call him Jonze again. Jonesy is like the lead singer from Sigaros when he went solo.
Should I know that? Would you be
no,
offended if I didn't?
No,
okay.
not at all. But that's why. My periphery reads it as such. John Jay's up top on the rafters at least to look down, but with pistols there's not going to be much of a range game advantage in that position. He does have a 5-7, which is nice to see rather than going for the CZ. I still prefer the 5-7 to be completely honest with you.
20 bullets of mayhem and moving. Something crash bangs somewhere. Alarmed me for a moment, but we're back. Now Sean Gares may be alarmed that he fell there. I think he wanted to keep going up catwalk. Happened to just take a little bit of a trip and a fall. As this is the round Rise really need to have. At least find some success into it. Get a rifle, maybe try to get something going. Because a 15-8 scoreline trying to fight back. It's gonna be big plate for Rise to try to consume, especially with the lack of experience they have. It's Moose again, who's always been sneaky.
Good check by Devidek.
Yep.
Like immediately looks to the corner, had to consider, especially when you're against pistols, you got to check those angles. That's when things really go wrong. Now, the fact that there was 3 of them there would have been it was tradable. But if he had found one, for example, and there was an AK at his leisure, that would have been somewhat precarious situation. John Jay found Sick, the one to get the kill. VSA does get a response. Sick immediately has to rotate around away from decontamination to get a safer plant as VSA continues to be somewhat menacing. Finally downed by Sean, but it gives them just the 1-man advantage to work with. And Pacer has a deagle, so don't rule it out. Maybe not give it much more than it's worth. 6 head shows too easily. Dazzle has stepped it up considering he started at 0 and 8. He's had some contribution. He's got an AK to work with as well. And 1 versus 2, he has armor, but unfortunately he has a predictable pattern of approach, and therefore Sean is able to find him in the doorway. Another round of Misfits, 1 away from wrapping up map 1.
No op for Ace, which it's been a very quiet game for him, all things considered. He's had it on the T side, didn't get too many kills with it. The CT side, I think he's had 1 op kill this half, if not 2. But that's barely anything for an opper, especially on the CT side of Nuke. You saw how much impact Shazam had on his CT side when he's able to float around and sting like a good-looking bee. That doesn't die, actually, after it stings. It's a trick, Sir B.
I don't like bees.
They suck, don't they? They pollinate things.
I got stung in my lip. Easy there, Childish Gambino. I got stung in the lip once when I was a kid. It swelled up to a massive size. John Day at ramp with Moose pushing outside again. That's exactly what I was talking about. If he was going to continue to be aggressive, if that's his one-trick pony, then let the pony run, because Misfits sit back and catch him off guard. It's exactly what they needed to do in a response, and Moose was trying to get a flank, but again, predictable. All right, Sean. Clever tactician, what do you got? There's a way you can actually throw a grenade up in the middle of all 4 windows, and it blows out the glass.
Saves you some time, won't it?
It does. Saves some time.
A little bit of ammo.
Costs a bit of utility. Yeah, ammo's irrelevant, as we talked about.
We did touch upon that subject, yeah. Short-term memory. Selective, actually.
I'm still wondering what that logo is that's on all the boxes and on train. It's on all the trains.
There's probably some lore that we don't know about.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
There's about to be some lore written into this game. Not so good for Rise. Is it going to end with a happy story or an abrupt ending? As John G and Dazzle don't want it to end, not yet. Dazzle is doing a great job playing top hut. He has support from VSA, but he swings to his death, and it is just VSA, not Slick anymore. At 16-8.
It's a good approach. I mean, Shazam hits a really nice shot on the player that dropped off of hut. So up close, Shazam still is an underrated, I think, up close opera. He's always had quick skill. Even you go back to, I mean, that was part of the reason Cloud9 picked him up in the first place was due to that with the sort of the end of his denial tenure before they became Liquid, and then Cloud9 obviously picked up Shazam. His most famous kill probably on Semphis, if we all remember.
Semphis.
Yeah, and exiting B.
Have you seen that guy's legs lately, by the way?
Yeah, they're the size of tree stumps. It's ridiculous.
That's a random side note.
Well, that aside, I mean, he is very good in those situations. And we saw another one where Moose had the 2K down below. He hit another up-close shot immediately to get the trade back
Really
and allow them the entry. And in doing this in this round, MNX just waited for that to happen, because as soon as he could